Right then, how are we all doing? So this is the next part of the A2 CFC. So this is the kind of thing they're going to teach you in the A2 CFC course. Yeah, so I'm not going to go massively in depth, but we're just going to touch on a few subjects. So this one is all about the principles of flight. That's right, they really teach you the interesting stuff. So we'll start with fixed wing, because any good RAE will be telling you about fixed wing and multirotor. So basically, aircraft are kept in the air by forward thrust. Can be a propeller, can be a jet turbine, can be anything. Okay, and the result of the movement of the wing through the stationary air. So as soon as the wing starts to move, it can create a lift force. Okay, which is greater than downwards gravitational force on the wing, and that keeps the aircraft airborne. Right, so that's good. We basically thrust, airflow over the wings gives us a lift. However, we do have drag. So the drag is dependent on the effective area of the wing facing directly into the airflow. So this wing, how effective it is, can determine the drag. And then we've also got the angle of attack. So if you're flying like this, the angle of attack's more, the aircraft slows down, therefore, because the drag has increased, and therefore the aircraft slows down. Therefore you've got to go faster to keep moving at the speed. So it's all very, very, very complicated. But basically, aerofoil, lift and drag. So it's really good because the wing gives you lift but also gives you drag. Weight of the aircraft can give you drag. The angle of attack can give you drag. The thrust will have to be increased, and you can keep going. And that's kind of it in a rough nutshell. Now, you're going to say to me, well, that's a fixed wing. And I'm going to go, yes. Now, what I will do, because it is a little bit more complicated than that, they'll probably tell you about Bernoulli's theory about airflow over a wing. So I will put a link to a better web video of people talking about aircraft lift than me below in the description. Go there, watch a proper video on it, because it is very interesting. And if you've ever been on a plane, you go on holiday and you sit in the wrong place, they'll make you move. So we'll get to that kind of stuff. But basically, we've got a bit of thrust, airflow over the wing. If the angle of attack is too much, aircraft will stall, fall out of sky. It's very much like that. So, what about a multirotor's lift then? Well, funny enough, these things called propellers, they generate lift. These are basically small wings. A helicopter, basically its main blades are wings. Helicopters just beat the air into submission, I must admit. They just really do beat it into submission. And then gravity, helicopters are just very noisy, very, very, very much will beat the air into submission. So, then we've got our good old friend the multirotor. So, lift is created by the prop spinning. So these create the thrust going up. As you can see, the prop is fixed though, and it's very much the drag from here, so more thrust is needed, gets the prop spinning, you can generate your lift. Now, when an aircraft turns left and right, people will go, oh, it speeds up a motor. It does, it speeds one up, slows one down, and the drag from that, the effect, will yaw it left and right. So, both aircraft, slightly different ways of doing it, but lift is accompanied by drag, which represents the air resistance against the aircraft dash the rotors here. Okay, and it's all depends upon the shape of the aerofoil, which will determine the amount of drag and how much thrust you're going to need. So 4.5 degrees, the flight controller knows what hover is with other sensors, and it creates the lift needed. That's a very short version of basic principles of flight. What I'll do is, like I say, I'll put a better link to all that in the video description, because what I'm not going to do is try and do a complicated graphics and reinvent the wheel, showing you how air flows over a wing, how it comes off, and when you get to this point here, so with a plane, if it flies and you pull up, you've got too much drag, not enough thrust, and the airflow over here separates from the wing, all of a sudden that's when you get your stall. Okay, that's why you get stalled. So you're climbing too high, your angle of attack is wrong, got too much drag, the air separates off away from the wing, it doesn't flow over the wing correctly, and that's it. Plane falls out of the sky. And that's a really very basic version of lift, of principles of how an aircraft flies. So basically, lots of airspeed over the wing, angle of attack nice, aircraft lifts, get too much, airflow separates, falls out of sky. That's it in a nutshell. Right, your next one will be following at some point. Like I say, it'd be a better video describing and explaining the principles of lift and everything in another video. But basically, it doesn't matter what it is, be it a multi-rotor or a fixed wing, principles are basically the same. Okay? Right, take everyone, stay flow.